Here is another type of problem that we'll be asked to find. They want us to find the cosine of s plus t and the cosine of s minus t. We're told that the cosine of s is negative 8/17 and the cosine of t is negative 3/5. S is in quadrant 2 and t is in quadrant 3. Well, both of these formulas, I need to know the cosine and the sine values. If I know that cosine of s is negative 8/17, then I can use cosine squared s plus sine squared s is equal to 1. If s is negative 8/17, then cosine squared of s is going to be 64 over 289 plus sine squared s equals to, it equals to 1, but I'm going to have to subtract later, so I'm going to think of my 1 as 289 over 289. So sine squared of s equals 289 minus 64 is 225 over 289. So sine of s equals, I would normally put in plus or minus, but I know that s is in quadrant 2, and in quadrant 2 sine is positive. Square root of 225 is 15. Square root of 289 is 17. So that's not my answer, but I'm going to circle it so it'll be easy for me to find later. Now, this type of problem is a problem that we did on test 1. And so another way to figure this out, I'll show you this with cosine of t. Cosine of t is negative 3/5. And we can go back to our previous definition, and that would mean that x is equal to negative 3 and y is equal to 5. No, not y. R is equal to 5. So r squared equals x squared plus y squared. 25 equals negative 3 squared is 9 plus y squared. 16 is equal to y squared. So y is the square root of 16, which is 4. But we have to remember that t is in quadrant 3. And in quadrant 3 is our x value positive or negative. Our x value is negative, so y is going to be negative 4. So that tells us that the sine of t is going to be negative 4 over 5. So you could use either of these two techniques, our Pythagorean identity or going back to our angles plotted in the Cartesian coordinate plane. So now, just to summarize, I know that cosine of s is negative 8/17. Sine of s is 15/17. Cosine of t is negative 3/5. And sine of t is negative 4/5. So if I want to find the cosine of s plus t, I'm going to take the cosine of s, which is negative 8/17, times the cosine of t, which is negative 3/5. I'm going to take the opposite arithmetic connector, and then I'm going to take the sine of s, which is 15/17, times the sine of t, which is negative 4/5. So I get 24 over 17 times 5 is 85, minus 15 times 4 is negative 60 over 85. When I subtract a negative, I end up adding a positive. And 24 plus 60 is 84 over 85. Similarly, I can find the cosine of s minus t. I take the same values and multiply them. But now, since I'm finding the difference, I'm going to come over here and I'm going to add. So I end up with 24 over 85 plus negative 60 over 85. And when I do that subtraction, I end up with negative 36 over 85. So we're going to do lots more with addition and difference formulas for sine and tangent in the next section. But for this section, 5.3, the homework I'd like you to do is 7, 9, 11, 13, 15, 51, 53, 55, 67, and 69.